Vicinity FM àwa ní bàbá. Vicinity 95.3 FM Ìkejì ilé, ọ̀tọ̀ nìkan láàrin òkúta, ayàtọ̀ sí wọn jọ̀ọ́jọ̀ọ́.
Enjoy. Beautiful morning. It's Tuesday. It's the 6th day in the month of May. Glad to be alive today to tell you beautiful morning. I'm Lua from Care Israel, and this is newspaper review where we bring you all of the top stories on our dailies and also the details of these headlines. Do well to join the conversation this morning. We are on Facebook at Vicinity 95.3 FM, and on YouTube at Vicinity 95.3 FM. I have before me this morning the Nigerian Tribune, Daily Trust, Daily Independent, The Punch, and The Guardian newspaper. On the front page of Nigerian Tribune 2027 article, still weighing options, may not quit PDP, plans last-minute rescue efforts to save party. Source 2025 UTME results analysis, over 1.5 million score less than 200 points, less than 1% score above 320. Dangote hails Tinubu for revolutionary change in oil gas sector to save Nigeria. FEC OK's Nigeria First economic policy to prioritize local industry, bans on justified imports, executive order coming to back up initiative. Tony Elumelu backs Gabon highest national award. Naira depreciates as crude oil prices falls below $60. Benue Assembly will study debates. Reps invitation letter today. Speaker. Bandits sack 3 Bauchi villages, kill 15 in Germany. Wike Fubara feud. Tax reform bills. Constitution review. Insecurity top agendas. NAS reconvenes. Farmers in Ondo, Ekiti, Osun lament dearth of skilled labor and cost of input. On Daily Independent, Senate leader reviews how Alausa saved Nadeco, leaders in exile. Stop using Cybercrime Act against journalists. Beg your pardon, I'll now move to the Punch. FG approves 1.8 trillion naira roads projects. New contracts. Student loan minister meets VCs as NAS block Lagos Ibadan highway. Revenue collection inefficiency cost power firms 965 billion naira. Major petrol diesel price quotes expected over crude slump. Insecurity reps Benue. Governor clash as NAS resumes today. Lawmakers blame Alia for killings. State Assembly members meet over reps' invitation. Concerns as over 1.1 million UTME candidates score below 200. 8,000 terrorist bandits killed under Tinubu defense minister. Makinde moves 5 commissioners in fresh cabinet shake-up. And to Daily Trust. Police launch probe as 5 children die inside abandoned vehicle. 2025, UTME with a 75% score below 200. Constitution review, insecurity task bill top agenda as NAS resumes today. Crisis in Northwest Development Commission over scholarship scheme. 23 killed as bandit vigilantes clash in Bauchi. New NNPCL leadership supporting my $20 billion refinery, Dangote. Gazans starve as Israel plans expanded operations. Woman in court for marrying two husbands. The Guardian, CSOs demand Akpabio's resignation as court affirms conviction of returning officer. FEC prioritizes local industry under Nigeria First policy. 77% of UTME candidates scored below 200. Nigeria risk losing youth generation to drug abuse, mental health crisis. Electoral Act, crucial bills up for debate as Senate House of Reps resume today. Dangote hails Tinubu for appointment in energy sector. Atiku warns against state-sponsored repression as the FCC offers reasons for activist VDM's arrest. Imperative of improved aviation operations before Fly Nigeria Act. Plateau killings. Police arrest more suspects. Recover illegal arms in fresh raids. Terrorism. Parliamentary group advises U.S. against designating Nigeria. Your top stories on the Guardian newspaper. To the details on the Guardian, Nigeria risk losing youth generation to drug abuse, mental health crisis. Nigeria is grappling with an alarming drug crisis, with United Nations reports revealing that 14.4% of its population aged 15 to 64, nearly triple the global average, abuse drugs. Startling 1 in 5 drug users suffer from disorders requiring urgent treatment. Also, psychiatric studies show that 82.5% of boys in correctional facilities have mental health challenges. As drug trafficking fuels violent extremism and economic collapse, the country risks deeper instability, crime, and a lost generation of youth without swift interventions. Stories on The Guardian. And it may not be God's will for you to govern Nigeria, Bwala tells Atiku. Daniel Bwala, Special Advisor to President Bola Tinubu on Policy Communication, has advised former Vice President Atiku Abubakar to reconsider his political aspirations and accept that it may not be his destiny to lead Nigeria. Speaking during an appearance on TVC's Politics Hangout on Monday, Bwala noted Atiku's 6 previous attempts to become president, either through party primaries or as a candidate, and suggested it was time for him to contribute in other ways. Still on The Guardian newspaper. Electoral Act, crucial bills up for debate as Senate House of Reps resume today. With nearly 50% or 362 days out of its legislative calendar gone, the National Assembly must be racing against time to deliver on crucial bills that are germane to democratic governance. Specifically, the Senate would begin the review of the Electoral Act of 2022 by looking into the bills for the consolidation of all elections in one day and disenfranchisement of citizens on special duties, while the House of Representatives would revisit the electronic transfer of results. On terrorism, parliamentary group advises U.S. against designating Nigeria. Killing of over 8,000 terrorists shows Tinubu's winning against insecurity, says Minister. The Nigerian-U.S. Parliamentary Friendship Group of the House of Representatives has called on the United States of America not to designate Nigeria as a country of particular concern due to insecurity and violence. However, the Minister of State for Defense, Dr. Bello Matawalle, said the killing of over 8,000 terrorists and bandits, the arrest of more than 11,600 criminal elements, and the recovery of over 10,000 assaulted weapons in 2024 were clear indicators that President Bola Tinubu is winning the fight against insecurity. Guardian, Nigeria leading push to provide electricity for 300 million Africans by 2030, Speaker Abbas. The Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, has said Nigeria is assuming a continental leadership role in the race to electrify Africa, with a bold target to help provide electricity to 300 million Africans by the year 2030. He also praised President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's approval of a $1 billion financing initiative for the Rural Electrification Agency in December. Abbas spoke at the opening of the first legislative conference and expo on renewable energy, organized by the House of Representatives Committee on Renewed Energy. Fresh oil spill hits Rivers community. A fresh oil spill reportedly occurred in Ikeata community in Ahoda, East Local Government area of Rivers State. The Guardian gathered that the spill occurred in the early hours of Monday, May 5, on a 14-inch pipeline right-of-way operated by Renaissance African Energy Company, the company that recently acquired the assets of Shell Petroleum Development Company of Nigeria in a $2.4 billion divestment deal. According to eyewitnesses, the spill is suspected to have been caused by third-party interference, as findings show that the vandals allegedly excavated the ground and vandalized the 14-inch pipeline along the Okodia-Umukwe pipeline right-of-way, which is currently spewing crude oil into the environment. Daily Trust, Constitution Amendments, Insecurity, Tax Bills top agenda as National Assembly resumes today. As the National Assembly resumes plenary today, high on its agenda are constitutional and electoral reforms, along with mounting security concerns across various zones of the country. Daily Trust reports that in addition to bills related to constitutional amendment, lawmakers are expected to address other pressing matters, including the summon of the Zamfara and Benue governors pending tax reform legislation before the Senate, the River State Solar Administrator's summons, and several outstanding committee reports. Upon resumption, legislators are also anticipated to introduce new bills and raise motions centered on the welfare of their constituents. This is on Daily Trust. Crisis in Northwest Development Commission over scholarship scheme. The Northwest Development Commission is embroiled in an internal crisis over a scholarship program. The board of the commission alleged that the scheme was not discussed at any of its meetings, while the management claimed to have informed the chairman of the board about it via a memo. Some members of the board of the commission who spoke with Daily Trust accused the management of taking unilateral decisions. Managing Director of the Commission, Professor Shehu Abdullahi Meji, said the management, through a memo, notified the chairman of the Commission about the proposed scholarship as required by the Act of the Commission. 2025 UTME, over 75% scored below 200. The Joint Admission and Matriculation Board has released the detailed performance reports of the 2025 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination, UTME, revealing that more than 1.5 million candidates scored below the 200 minimum admissible marks for university admissions in Nigeria. This has generated some reactions, as the performance is seen as poor considering that most universities and courses required a score of 200 and above for students to gain admission, despite the admissible cutoff mark pegged at 140. A breakdown of the result statistics released on Monday by the board showed that of the 1,955,000 results released, only 420,000 candidates attained scores above 200, while just 12,000 candidates, equivalent to 0.63 of total participants, scored 300 and above, placing them among the highest achievers in the year's exam. On Daily Trust, this is sad one. 25 killed as bandit vigilantes clash in Bauchi. At least 25 people have been reported dead in Akaleri local government area of Bauchi State following a clash between suspected bandits and members of a vigilante group. The casualties included 9 vigilante members, 5 bandits, and 11 residents who were among those adopted. A statement by the police public relations officer Ahmed Wakil on May 4th at about 9:40 hours said the command received a report from Al-Kaleri Divisional Police Headquarters regarding the incident that occurred earlier that same day. Story is on the Daily Trust. Economy biting hard. Rural dwellers in various parts of Nigeria have spoken up on factors fueling poverty in local communities across the country, saying that high cost of living is affecting them negatively. They expressed their views following the fresh concern raised by the World Bank over the rising poverty in Nigeria, saying that a staggering 75.5% of rural dwellers live below the poverty line. The World Bank, in its latest April 2025 Poverty and Equity Brief for Nigeria, which was obtained, painted a gloomy picture of the state of poverty in the country following worsening economic hardship and inequality among the rural dwellers. Court to hear suit filed by scavengers beggars against Wike, May 29. The Federal High Court in Abuja on Monday adjourned the suit filed by some vulnerable FCT residents, including scavengers, beggars, and taxi traders, among others, against the minister Nyesom Wike until May 29 for hearing. Justice James Omotosho adjourned the matter after Adamu Mahmood, who appeared for the plaintiff, sought an extension of time to file a further affidavit in response to counter affidavits served on him. The aggrieved resident sued the minister, the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetukun, among others, demanding 500 million in damages over an alleged breach of their fundamental rights. Stories on the Daily Trust. On the Punch, Reps panel loads Lagos-Calabar Highways progress. The House of Representatives Committee on Works has expressed satisfaction with the quality and pace of work on Session 1 of the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway project. Reports that the chairman of the committee, Akin Alabi, stated this during the inspection of the ongoing construction on Monday. Alabi lauded the contractor for the quality job and the Federal Ministry of Works for its effective supervision. Acknowledging some challenges highlighted by the contractors, Alabi urged them to ensure the project was delivered according to the agreed schedule. A Northern Group Matawali clash over alleged 528 billion naira embezzlement. A face-off is erupted between the concerned Northern Forum and the Minister of State for Defense, Bello Matawali, over allegations of embezzling 528 billion naira during his tenure as Governor of Zamfara State from 2019 to 2023. The group, led by its chairman, Alhaji Aliyu Sani, at a press conference in Kaduna on Monday, accused Matawali of mismanaging funds from the Federal Account Allocation Committee, Joint Account Allocation Committee, and domestic loans. But in a swift reaction, Suleiman Shwaibu, who served as Matawali's special advisor on bilateral and multilateral affairs, dismissed the allegations, describing the group as faceless. And still on the Punch, group dispute Oyebanji zero borrowing claim. A group, Ekiti Concerned Professionals, has disputed claims by the Ekiti State government that the current administration, led by Governor Biodo Oyebanji, has not borrowed a penny since assuming office in 2023. According to the group, contrary to the government's claim, the state debt stock has increased. In January, the State Commissioner for Budget and Economic Planning, Femi Ajayi, said the administration of Oyebanji had not borrowed a dime to finance its projects and programs since inception. This story is on the Punch newspaper. Boko Haram, Borno to shut IDP camp over rising gangsterism and prostitution. Borno State Governor Babangana Zulum on Monday announced plans to resettle 6,000 families displaced by the Boko Haram insurgents, citing a surge in prostitution and other vices at the internally displaced persons camp. The announcement was made during his visit to the Muna IDP camp in Maiduguri, one of the largest in the state, which currently shelters about 11,000 families affected by the decade-long crisis. Speaking to journalists after the visit, Governor Zulum emphasized that the resettlement initiative had become necessary due to rising levels of criminal activities within the camp. Still on Punch, Poverty Index, Uriwa tackles presidency for criticizing Adesina. The Human Rights Association of Nigeria has criticized the presidency for its response to recent comments made by President of the African Development Bank, Dr. Akinwumi Adesina, on Nigeria's worsening poverty crisis. In a statement on Monday signed by its national coordinator, Emmanuel Nwobiko, this rights group described the presidency's reaction as childish and politically twisted, accusing the administration of dismissing legitimate concerns by introducing partisan politics into national discourse. Additionally, while delivering a keynote address at an event organized by Chapel Hill Deham in Lagos, had warned that Nigeria's per capita income had dropped from $1,847 in 1960 to $824 in 2023, implying that the average Nigeria is now worse off than at independence. Stories on The Punch newspaper. Still on The Punch, reps assure traditional rulers of constitutional role by 2026. The Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, has assured traditional rulers that they will be granted a formal role in Nigeria's governance structure by 2026 through the ongoing constitutional amendment process. Abbas gave the assurance in Kaduna during the official handover of 23 utility vehicles to traditional rulers in the state. The event, held at Sir Kashim Ibrahim House, was attended by Kaduna State Governor Uba Sani and key government officials. 27 Northern stakeholders meet May 20 to assess Tinubu's performance. Sir Ahmadu Bello Memorial Foundation has announced a two-day interactive session scheduled for May 20 and May 21, 2025 in Kaduna, aimed at evaluating the performance of President Bola Tinubu's administration ahead of the 2027 general elections. According to a statement released on Monday by the Foundation's Director General, Abubakar Umar, the session will focus on tracking progress on the administration's electoral promises, enhancing government citizen engagement, and promoting transparency and accountability. Now on security, rescuing northern Nigeria from terrorism. A spike in terrorism in the north, especially northeast and north central, is alarming. Boko Haram, ISWAP have become deadlier. They now use drones and improvised explosive devices in their attacks. In all this, there appear to be no immediate solution in sight. The story is on The Punch. Moving ahead, Makinde moves 5 commissioners in fresh cabinet shakeup. Your state governor, Sheyi Makinde, on Monday carried out a cabinet reshuffle reassigning tasks for 5 commissioners. Statement by Special Advisor on Media, Suleiman Olariwaju, said the governor announced this in a letter signed by his Chief of Staff, Segun Ogunwi, in Ibadan, the state capital. Southeast region, insecurity and indictment of government failure. The southeast region of Nigeria has been plagued by persistent insecurity, exacerbated by the indigenous people of Biafra sit-at-home orders, which have crippled economic activity in normal life. The federal government's same inability or unwillingness to address the issue sparked accusations of defeat, complicity, or both, as the government abdicates its security responsibilities. Citizens are left to suffer and the economy is suffocating. pattern of blame, shifting, and inaction only fuels suspicion of powerful sponsors behind the protracted instability. Federal government has enough on its plate. Yeah, insecurity at in every region should be addressed. But at this point, state government also should contribute their quota. Federal government cannot do this alone. They should also come up with plans that can address this issue. If you're familiar with the situation in the southeast, you know that it's just aggrieved groups that are seeking the release of their leader, Nnamdi Kanu. And recently there's been progress in the court proceedings over the case of Nnamdi. At the same time, we would not, push this insecurity situation in the southeast aside. It's still something that is disturbing because the Monday sit-at-home traders, people who have businesses out there, cannot move around safely because they're afraid for their lives and their businesses. There is a comment on our Facebook page. Good morning, Oluwafunke from Sachile Sadeguna and vicinity family. As we welcome back members of National Assembly, they should take decisive action about the state of insecurity in Nigeria. The bandits are becoming too daring. We've had series of meetings with security heads. President Bola Tinubu last week, visited Katsina, and with this, attack here and there. The situation in Bauchi, Zamfara, Borno. Look at Governor Zulum trying to relocate, internally displaced persons from a particular camp, because now a lot is even going on in this camp. There are other groups, not insurgents, but there is a case of people now doing some kind of things in this camp. So he's trying to break the camp because it's the largest. It housed 11,000 displaced persons. Trying to see how he can relocate over 6,000 of these people to other camps. This can be challenging, and it's really a lot. On Daily Independent this morning, on this story, Zulum resettles 6,000 families from Dikwa Mafa. Borno State Governor Babangana Zulum announced the settlement of 6,000 families displaced by the insurgents. The families mostly hailed from Dikwa Mafa local government area. Zulum announced that the plan on Monday at Moai IDP camp, one of the largest, with about 11,000 families taking refugees due to the over-decade-old crisis in Borno State. Addressing journalists, Zulum reiterated that the resettlement became imperative due to the high level of illicit activities in the camp. Illicit activities in the camp. Boko Haram can never be eradicated with resettling taking place. People have to go back to their homes and earn their living. And he said that they have observed in the IDP camp there is increasing prostitution, increasing gangsterism, and cases of child abuse and other criminality. So while we're trying to save people from evil, evil is still living among them. This is just what describes it all. And now it still needs to try to fix, people in the IDP, fix the problems in the IDP camps over other forms of criminalities in the IDP camp. What do you expect? People who are idle can, barely put their mind to something, and they want to, get busy, and somehow they take to something that they're not supposed to do. This is disturbing. And that story is on Daily Independent. And still on Daily Independent, no PDP governor struck any deal with Wike on party affairs. The Conference of Professionals in the PDP said it can authoritatively confirm that governors elected under the platform of the People's Democratic Party did not strike any deal with the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, on the issues relating to party's leadership. and activities. The PDP said it has carefully and professionally investigated the reporting session of the media, which claimed that PDP governor struck a compromising deal with Wike on party matters and found same to be incorrect and misleading. Well, the time is up. Thank you for joining us on Newspaper Review this morning on Vicinity 95.3 FM. I'm Lua from Kezra, the executive producer, Yadishola Salami. Thank you, Sir Julius Legno, for your comment. Always, we appreciate. Until I come with you on the morning show, have yourself a great day.